Chapter 4, Felixstowe, November the 15th, 2019. With one consuming roar along the shingle, the long wave claws and rakes the pebbles down to where the backwash and the next wave mingle. A mounting arc of water weedy brown, against the tide the offshore breezes blow. O wind and water, this is Felixstowe. These lines are from John Betjeman's poem, Felixstowe, or the last of her order. Although the gusts of late autumn foretell the coming of an unsettling December, the weather for the upcoming weekend is promising. That is, there are to be no prolonged stretches of torrential rain. Wanting to take advantage of this forecast, I hurriedly search for a seaside destination that is not too difficult to reach by train. It's only been a little over a week since I last wandered by the sea, yet I long to return to the restless East Anglia coast. Upon consulting my timetable, I learned that in just under 3 hours, with one change in Ipswich, I can travel from Cambridge to Felixstowe, a small seaside town about 60 miles south of Great Yarmouth. For better or worse, I decide to go, even though I know nothing about what awaits me. The college porter is not reassuring, for when he learns that I am off to this coastal community in Suffolk, he mutters a tepid approval and adds that the place might be interesting enough. Well, I shall see. The late afternoon train from Cambridge to Ipswich is on time and packed. I find a window seat across the aisle from a group of teenagers who boisterously flirt and brag, while unwittingly exposing the anxieties and insecurities of their lives. One talks about whether or not to carry a knife to defend himself from bullies at school. The girls among them seem not to want to have anything to do with the idea. After such talk, it's a relief to turn my attention to the 2 young women sitting directly in front of me. They have been in Cambridge shopping at Primark, a cut-rate clothing store, and are full of excitement about their purchases. However, as soon as we approach Bury St. Edmunds, one of the stops along the route, they cease their animated chatter, turn to each other, and in unison solemnly declare, "Don't forget to watch for our beautiful tree." Intrigued, I ask what they mean. They reply, "Just wait." In a minute or two, the train passes a wide, open, sloping, uncultivated field, in the midst of which a single broad tree extends its princely branches and nobly keeps its solitary watch. As do they, I silently look out of the window at this splendid sight. This shared moment softens the abrasive nattering across the aisle. Once in Ipswich, I discover, as one often does on a weekend, that the local train to Felixstowe has been cancelled. I learned this fact by overhearing others complain. A good thing too, for the early Friday evening tangle of people in the waiting area is confusing, and so too is the barely audible announcement of the schedule change over the station's sputtering loudspeaker. A replacement bus is waiting outside to take those of us going to Felixstowe. The town is just 15 kilometers southeast of Ipswich. Slightly rattled, I purchase a fried chocolate-filled hot donut, a specialty in these coastal areas, before walking out of the station to search for the coach, line up, and squeeze down a narrow aisle in pursuit of a seat. At this moment, both the rain and the dark descend. The oncoming vehicle lights glare and make for an uncomfortable ride. Less than an hour later, when the driver eventually lets us off at the Felixstowe train station, I search for a taxi. None is in sight. I should be used to this by now. But perplexed and slightly anxious, I approach a well-dressed passenger and ask if he could point me toward my hotel. It is supposed to be nearby. Remarking that the hotel is on his way home, he gallantly escorts me to my destination. I am pleased that I have selected the Orwell Hotel, named after the nearby River Orwell. Delightful stream whose waters flow fringed with luxuriant beauty to the main. The building is a grand Edwardian brick structure designed by a nephew of the renowned 19th century English marine and landscape painter John Sell Cotman. A 4-page advertisement in a 1900 guide to Felixstowe boasts of the hotel's merits. I quote, "This charmingly situated high-class hotel has been reopened with increased accommodation. 60 rooms with lounge, sitting, dining, billiard and smoke rooms, magnificently furnished throughout. Private gardens, lawn for tennis, croquet, bowls, etc. Excellent cuisine and wines, stabling and cycle accommodation, under the personal supervision of the proprietor, Karl Rosinski, a grand name for a grand hotel." Thankfully, well over a century later, much of the elegant and refined decor remains. The interior has style, beautiful woodwork, ornamental plaster, tall ceilings, standing pieces of sculpture, chandeliers, oil paintings depicting wealthy turn-of-the-century patrons, and even a library. But it does seem rather empty. Moreover, my modest single room at the end of a labyrinth of corridors and stairwells is not impressive. I would call it basic. Furthermore, the private gardens, the lawn tennis court, the bowling green, and the croquet course highlighted in the 1900 advertisement have utterly vanished. Long gone, these verdant attractions lie buried and forgotten beneath a cold, paved lot. Alas, no Demeter descends to the underworld to bargain with Hades for their return.